welcome to the very first episode of Keeper's Corner, Rescue Talk for Real. My name is Cora, and I've been working with Kind Keeper for a little bit under a year now, and I wanted to do something fun and interesting for our YouTube channel to help generate some money for the shelter. So I came up with this idea for a podcast. Our goal with this podcast is to first reach 1,000 subscribers, so if you will help by liking this video and subscribing, that way we can get more money for our animals and help this rescue continue to grow. Now you will have to bear with us as this is our first test run of the podcast, so we are going to be trying different things. We're hoping to have great success with this, have a good time. It's mostly just for fun and hoping to gain more followers and more awareness for our rescue. If you are a local business to the area of Myrtle Beach, we are hoping that maybe you want to reach out and we can advertise your business on this podcast and help generate some business for you as well. We're always looking for partnerships with local businesses. The basic idea of how each podcast will go is we will do a little bit of an intro about what's happening for the podcast you're about to watch. Then we'll have a guest on. Our guests would include people like shelter directors, rescue presidents, and founders. We'll have some animal behaviorists on, talking about different animal behaviors, and maybe you're having issues with your own pet at home. It's a good thing to tune into. We're also going to be doing something called Creature Feature. Each episode will have one of our adoptable animals on the episode. I'll be sharing some information about them. You'll be able to see all their adorable faces. We'll get into our very first interview with none other than Belinda Merowitz herself. Belinda is the founder and president of Kind Keeper in North Myrtle Beach, and we are so excited that she has time to come sit and chat with us. So we'll be hearing a little bit more about Kind Keeper as a whole and also talking about all things rescue. So thank you for watching, and please subscribe and like the video. All right, we are here with Belinda Merowitz herself. We're going to be talking about Kind Keeper and about rescue as a whole. So Belinda, why don't you tell us a little bit about your life before you got into rescue? Where are you from? What was your professional background?
I am originally from New Jersey, and my background then was food and beverage.
Okay, awesome.
So then I moved to Florida for a brief time, and then I came to South Carolina, and I volunteered at another private rescue and seen the need for all the abandoned dogs down here. So I decided to pray and see if it was the right thing for me to do. And God answered my prayers, and here I am 10 years later.
All right, so it's been about 10 years. So Kind Keeper was founded in
2014. July of 2014, I got my 501(c)(3).
Awesome. All right. And you had mentioned that moving from the north to the south, you noticed a difference in animal welfare.
Oh, a big difference.
Yeah, same with me. I moved from Massachusetts and started volunteering at a county shelter and realized how many strays there are, not a lot of spaying, neutering, heartworm disease.
Correct.
What would you say is the biggest issue? Is it the spay and neuter? Is it the heartworm? Is it all of it?
I would say it would be almost all of it. Parvo also is very big down here in the south. I think it's because we don't have the cold weather like we do up north where it kills off a lot of that.
Right.
So Parvo is very big, heartworm is very big, and spay and neuter up north, you have to have your dog registered.
Right, yeah.
So you
By law.
By law. So you have to get it spayed and neutered. You're not allowed to have as many litters as they do down here.
Right. And it seems like they're always coming in all the time.
And they do keep track of your animal.
Right.
So
like a license.
Yes, they have a license. Yeah. So they are not allowed to just let it out and roam and whatnot.
Right, yeah. And I think education on like owning an animal is important too, as far as knowing to get your animal vaccinated, and spaying and neutering is important. Prevention, not a lot of people are aware of how important prevention is.
Correct.
For fleas, ticks, and heartworm, because there's so many diseases that animals can get.
Yes, and I don't think enough people are aware of that. We do, when we do our adoptions, we do try to make everyone aware of all the different situations that come up. Also, when you're getting a puppy, it's very important to train them, to teach them, just like you would your children. You have to teach them. If you don't teach a puppy, it's never going to behave, and be the way you want it to be.
I think people have the misconception that when you get a puppy, it's like pre-programmed to be housebroken, crate trained, not chew on things,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an investment to raise a dog that behaves.
Yes, it is an investment, but it's something, and even taking it to a trainer 1 or 2 times
Mhm.
is not enough.
Right.
It's the basics, and the basics are good. We do give a handout of all your basic commands and how to do those, but it's reinforcing every day, every day, every day.
It's not a one-time thing that you
No.
can just say, okay, we're done training.
Right.
It's ongoing.
It's ongoing all the time. And it takes a shelter dog a long time to adjust to a new home. It
Right.
takes them a long time to adjust here in the shelters. So if you have it for a week or 2, even a month or 2, you have to give that animal time
Mhm.
to get acclimated with its new surroundings and learn its new routine that it's supposed to have, and things of that nature.
People always talk about the 3-3-3 rule.
Correct.
3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months total to have a dog fully acclimate to a situation. Because some of our dogs have never been in house before, so it's a
Correct.
huge adjustment for them
Mhm.
to come in and move into a family's house.
Right.
So that's something that people need to realize too, is that you need to give the dog time to adjust, just like you have to adjust to the dog.
Correct.
And then why don't you talk a little bit about what intake looks like? Let's say someone brings a dog they find on the street. What do we do at the door all the way up till they're adopted? What's the process of getting them into the shelter?
If someone finds a stray, we do have to post that stray for 5 days and put it on a stray hold
Mhm.
to give the owner time to come and claim it back from us. If it is a owner surrender, then we can go ahead and do the intake on it. Our intake process is it always gets a bath,
Mhm.
gets its nails done, we check its ears, we clean its ears, we do the vaccinations on it, we start our deworming process, we do the flea and tick and heartworm preventative, we do a heartworm test on it to see if it's negative or positive. If it is positive, we go ahead and start the treatment for that. And then we get pictures of it and, of course, feed it
Right.
and find a spot for it.
Yeah.
And then we post it online, and hopefully
Someone comes along.
it gets a good adopter.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge part where people always are wondering about adoption fees, but there's a lot that goes into getting that dog ready to be adopted. There's a lot of costs as far as medical and
Correct.
preparing it. So I think people sometimes have a misconception that it's not that we want to take people's money, it's that it takes a lot to feed that animal and care for it while it's with us.
Correct.
So that's a huge thing.
And we do have the staffing and the building
Right.
and all our other expenses that we need to pay on top of just getting the dog in and getting it up to date on all its shots and things of that nature.
There's a lot behind the scenes that goes on.
Correct.
And then as far as capacity, I know it's always hard to say, but how, on average, what do you think number-wise we have for dogs and cats? That's a really hard question.
Technically, we have 5 kennels, so we can hold
Mhm.
10 kennels,
Mhm.
so we can hold 10 dogs. And we have the 2 whelping rooms, which would be a mom
Puppies.
and the puppies.
Yeah.
So on an average, we should have 12 adult dogs
Mhm.
and whatever babies the mama has.
Gotcha.
Our cats are also set up the same. We have 10 cat cages, and then we have the 1 cat roaming room where
Mhm.
we can probably do 10 to 12 free roamers
Yep.
comfortably.
Yeah.
Is it ever at that? No. Because
Yeah,
we
that's-
get too many.
Right.
So on any given day, you never know what's going to happen here at Timekeeper
Or walk through the door.
or what's going to come through the door. It's always something going on. We're always very busy with new intakes coming in, with dogs being adopted,
All of it. There's a lot going
just
on.
with keeping the kennel clean and making phone calls and all of that kind of stuff. So we're always
busy.
needing people to help us and volunteer events. We constantly have events going on to raise money because we are a 501c nonprofit, which we do not get government
Funding.
or state funding
Right.
all the time.
Yeah.
We do apply for grants. We do get some grants and whatnot to help us. So.
And then I wanted to mention that when we talk about capacity, it seems like for, what would you say, since COVID, there's been like a shelter crisis where everyone has been at capacity. Like no open spaces, everyone's trying to help each other. Would you say, I mean, I've only been in the realm of this for about 3 or 4 years. Is it always like that, or has it gotten worse?
It has gotten worse. A lot of people now are moving, and they can't take their animals with them.
Right.
COVID, more people were staying home, so they took on the responsibility, and then once they had to go back to work, they no longer thought that they can keep the dog because now they have to go back to work. Well, the dog doesn't know how long you're gone.
Right. That's the biggest thing.
I'm gone 12, 13 hours a day, and when I walk through that door, my dog is so happy to see me every time I walk through the door. It doesn't realize that I've been gone so long.
Right, yeah. And I think that's a huge thing is people are worried or concerned to leave their dog at home for a certain amount of time, but that's compared to a dog being in a shelter situation where it is in its own kennel, and we do as much as we can here by playing and taking them outside, but it isn't the same as a home situation.
No, it is not. This, I say, is more like them being in a jail.
Right, yeah.
You know, we do give them their food, their water, their exercise that they're going to need, and their medical that they're going to need. And we do give them love, and don't take me wrong on that one. You know, they do get their, but not as if it would be at a home.
Right.
Where, okay, you get in from work at 6 o'clock. You still have from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock. That's 4 hours that dog is with you. And then, you know, at night, you're sleeping. I know my two are right up in bed with me. So, you know, they're right there next to me all night long. So leaving them for a short period of time and going to work and doing what you're supposed to do isn't a big
not a big deal.
Right.
And then I know we have some exciting things happening, such as the new building. So I want to talk a little bit about that. What would you say, I mean, I know, but what would you say is our biggest need for this new building? Is it space? Is it all of the above?
Well, we got our money for our land from a friend of mine, Carol Lighton, which has passed away. So she did leave us in her will, and we had purchased our land. So that's how we got our 10.5 acres of land. So that is all paid for.
That is amazing.
We are now raising the $1.5 million that it's going to cost us to build our new building. We did just get a $300,000 grant from the state. So that is pushing us closer to our goal. But our building is very old, as you know. It's a old Army barracks built in 1962 or 1942, something like that. So it is very run down. The dog area does have heat and air. The rest of us don't.
Right.
So,
the dogs come first.
So our offices are quite hot or quite cold in the winter. But it is what it is. It has been doing the job here for the last 10 years. But when we move, we will now have 30 kennels to house 30 dogs, 4 whelping rooms, 1 old-timer room.
So we can have little retirement room.
Our retirement room. And then we are also going to have a nursery for all our smaller ones, so we can house more. We do have a lot of fosters, which we do now put our smaller ones out into foster.
We're always looking for more, though.
Always need more. We get probably 20 to 30 phone calls a day asking us to take in surrenders or owner surrenders. And it's heartbreaking that I can't help them all.
And of course you want to, but it's just not doable to the extent that people are asking.
Correct. For one, we don't have the space to do that. For two, we don't have the manpower to do
Right.
that. For three, we don't always have the money to do that.
Correct.
Being a nonprofit,
Right.
we have to kind of keep track of how much is spent and whatnot, so we can make sure that everybody is
Taken care of.
taken care of.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there something about the new building you're most excited about?
All of it.
Just all of it
All of
together. Yeah.
All of it together. It is going to be a one-stop shop, so we are going to have a trainer. So we will
Wow.
offer training there on our facility. We are also going to have a groomer where we will offer grooming responsibilities. We are going to do the spay and neuter regular well visit
Oh wow! So it's going to be like a clinic. So
clinic.
Yeah.
So the general public can also come and get their dogs done.
That's awesome.
Also, we're going to help out other rescues because I know we have a very hard time finding vets to help us.
Yeah. About the new building, do we have any idea about groundbreaking?
We are getting a step closer every day.
Awesome.
We are now just got approved for another grant for the right-of-way to pull off into our building from the
Perfect.
state. So that one just went through. I think we're only waiting on 1 or 2 more permits
Awesome.
before they give us a groundbreaking date. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, but we are getting
Because
close.
We
We're
are getting closer. We have gotten 3 or 4 of our permits already approved.
Amazing.
So we are moving forward every day.
Awesome. And then some fun questions for you. I know you have your own personal dogs.
Mhm.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about them and why you decided, I mean, you see dogs every day. Why is it those ones that you decided that you wanted to adopt?
My first 2, Milo and Daisy, before I was open, somebody came and dropped them on the front porch.
Wow.
So,
The first resident stayed.
the first 2 residents stayed. Because I wasn't open yet to the public.
Oh,
I had them and I was with them every day and whatnot.
Right.
I just grew attached to them, so
course.
they stayed with me. My second one that I got is Stitch, and we call her Stitch because we took her mom in and she was having complications with her labor.
Mhm.
So we took her down to the vet and we had to get her into a crate. And the baby went through the bars of the crate and Mama pulled it back and ripped the baby all the way around.
Oh my god.
So my Stitch has indentations all around her body where she had the
Oh
stitches.
my gosh, I never knew that.
They did not think she was going to make it. She underwent 7 surgeries 10 surgeries in 7 days.
Wow.
Because of her size, the stitches kept ripping because her skin was so soft and whatnot. Because of her being so young, she did lose vision in one eye, so she cannot see out of one eye. But they said she wasn't going to make it, so I could not put her out there on the floor for somebody to take and her not make it and you fall in love. Well, 7 years later, she is
She's
still alive.
weird. Very much so.
Very much so, and she's about 120 pounds. So she is quite
She
the
grew
heavy,
well.
fat little girl. And my last one was one who came in with swimmer's paw. I don't know if you know what that is.
Is that when it goes out, like to the
That's
left of
when their
deformity?
arms go out and they have no muscle strength
Mm.
in their arms to hold their body up. So the vet, we took her to the vet and he said we can try some different things to see if it
Anything
was going to
takes.
help her or whatnot. But for the most part, they put those type of dogs down because they don't survive.
Mm.
Or they may survive a little while. And
Quality of life might not be there.
correct. So I took paper
Paper towel rolls. Yeah.
paper towel rollers and cut them
That's smart.
and took duct tape and made this figure 8 to keep her arms straight.
Mhm.
And then I put her feet into a tissue box
Oh my gosh.
so they couldn't spread or
Spread,
go
yeah.
anywhere. And that's how I taught her how to walk.
So she gained muscle that way.
She did gain muscle that way.
Mhm.
She walks very funny. She walks like a little billy goat. That's why her name is Billy. But yeah, it took me a long time to get her to be able to walk and whatnot. She does have a lot of neurological issues
Mhm.
where her body just shakes and quivers, and she does have all kinds of food allergies and
Mhm.
all kinds of stuff going on.
Very special girl.
She is my special girl. Um, Still is not potty trained.
Mhm. And how old
After
is she now?
6,
Okay,
6.5.
Yeah.
So she does know what a pee pad is, and she goes on the pee pad in the house every day.
That's what you can ask for.
She cannot do stairs. She cannot do any of that type of stuff. So we can't take her.
And do the dogs interact well? Do they
They
kind
do.
of sense that she needs a little bit more gentle play?
In the beginning, yes. As she grew and whatnot, she hops right in there and
Like she doesn't know a difference at all.
No, she doesn't know that she's special.
Oh, that is so sweet. And then the last question I have for you, Belinda, is do you remember a rescue story or one of our dogs that we adopted out that sticks out in your mind the most?
I have to say my favorite one is Samoa.
Mm.
She is a little French bulldog.
Mhm.
It was right around COVID time. Her owner had lost her job and couldn't care for her anymore. And as you know, French bulldogs need a lot of work. They have lots of skin conditions, ear problems, all of the above. She had brought me the dog, and of course I took it in as a surrender, and we had the dog here, and that dog cried and cried and cried
24/7.
It cried so much nobody got any sleep. Nobody could concentrate because it was crying and whining. So I called the woman the next day, and we decided to give it back to the woman as a foster until she got on her feet.
Oh, that's amazing. That is amazing.
So we fostered the dog for her until she was able to get on her feet. When she got her job again and was able to take over and take care of the dog, we did resurrender it back to her.
Oh, that's so
and
great.
She got her dog. So her and the dog are both very happy now.
Yes, and hopefully she gets some sleep. Not her still crying.
No, it was jumping for joy when she came
good.
back.
That is so amazing.
So yes, that
and
is.
Then you mentioned the fostering thing. For people who don't know, that means when we have fosters, it's at no cost to them.
Correct.
So that means that we would take care of whatever our dog's medical issues were. Correct me if I'm wrong, but food we supply, all of the supplies that they may need.
Yes.
We only ask that they're in a loving home and taken care of for the foster period.
And for the most part, we ask them to keep them separate from our dogs in the beginning because, as you know, everything we get in comes in with something.
Right.
Sometimes it takes us over a month to deworm some of the animals because they're so wormy.
Filled. Yeah.
And then parvo is always a 2 to 3 week period, so we like them to keep them separated for a period of time until we can give them a good bill of health. We ask for them to keep them separate.
Is there anything that you'd like to add or talk about? Anything you're excited about besides the new building?
That new building. I can't wait.
And we have the golf tournament this
yes,
weekend.
We do. We have our golf tournament. It's our 9th annual golf tournament this Saturday.
Amazing.
Sorry, we are all booked up for players, but we can always use sponsors and volunteers.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do a golf tournament twice a year. We do one in February and we do one in September. And of course, we will be at the Irish Italian Fest.
Yeah, we got a
down
big
on
weekend
Main Street.
that weekend after.
Yeah, we have quite a few big events coming up.
And I will attach in the bottom of this video a couple of links to find out information about those fundraisers. And we are always looking for volunteers, like she said, to come and help out. It's a good way to just spend your weekend, I think. It's always a good time.
Correct.
We have a good group of people, lots of puppies.
And a lot of people say they don't want to foster because they're afraid they're going to take them all home, or to volunteer because they're afraid they're going to take them all home. I won't let you take them all home.
Yeah, right.
I know how much work it is to have too many animals.
Oh,
so,
yes.
So, yeah. But they do need the loving while they're here. So if you can come out and love on them and give them the attention and whatnot they need when they're here, that would
That's
be
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Belinda. I
You're
know you're very
welcome.
busy, but I appreciate making the time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Okay, this is Napoleon. Napoleon is about 12 weeks old and he is a lab mix. He has very much a puppy and has a lot of puppy energy. He's got those big old paws, so he's going to be a bigger dog. Napoleon came in with all of his siblings at about 6 to 8 weeks old. It was a pretty bad situation. They all came in super emaciated, full of worms, parasites, and we've clearly got them back up to health, and he is so ready to find his forever home. Napoleon and his siblings are all available for adoption at Kind Keeper. These are some of the most calm and chill puppies that we have, and definitely some of the sweetest and most gentle. They'd be great with kids. Great family dogs, labs in general. He's very handsome. He's a very good boy, huh? You're such a good boy. So he is very excited to find a new family. So if you're interested in Napoleon or any of our other animals, you can go to our website at kindkeeper.org or come and give us a visit. We're located in North Myrtle Beach. And come and find your new best friend like Napoleon. Good boy. You say bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. He's going to be our first dog on Creature Feature. Napoleon puppy. This is not going to work. Maybe the treats were not the best idea.